Welcome into Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Braiden Bell alongside Spencer Hardenberg. And Spencer, there's a big-time buzz around campus, and now a lot of people would say it's because ASU beat Oregon in football this past weekend. But a small group of folks might argue that it's because we're back on the anchor desk. The ASU volleyball team couldn't snap their losing streak at home against the LA schools. The Sun Devils have now lost 6 straight games since entering Pac-12 play. Joining me to break down the recent struggles of the volleyball team is analyst Troy Tasher. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Braiden.
All right, so let's start with the UCLA game over this past weekend. What were the struggles that you noted from that game? Now over to ASU men's basketball, where the Devils are just over a month away from starting year 3 of the Bobby Hurley era. The official schedule for the Maroon and Gold was released this past week, and the excitement is starting to build for a team that looks to be Hurley's best yet. ASU's schedule will feature 9 teams that played in last year's NCAA tournament, including a marquee matchup on the road against Kansas in early December. The season officially tips off on November 10th against Idaho State. Well, there you have it, a couple of very interesting press conferences in Tempe yesterday. Now, to break down this huge story, WCSN football analyst Ryan Clark is here. And Ryan, we were both at the presser yesterday and covered the team all year long. You're an expert here with this team, but I'm going to ask this first question. It's pretty simple. Did Todd Graham deserve to be fired? Now, we'll have more football later in the show, but for now, we will take a step away from the gridiron and talk about Bobby Hurley and the Arizona State men's basketball team. In a normal week, the squad would be the lead story. The Devils are now 6-0 on the season after winning the Continental Tire Invitational in Las Vegas. This was perhaps the most impressive week in the Hurley era at ASU. The Devils have now scored over 90 points in every single game this season. That's a new school record. Momentum around this program is reaching heights that hasn't been seen since the days of James Harden, as the Devils are now ranked nationally, coming in at number 20, the first time they've been ranked since 2009. Here's a look back at the huge week the team had in Vegas. So like Ryan mentioned, he will be back later to break down this huge story. But while the news about Todd Graham sent shockwaves throughout the Valley, there also was a football game this past weekend, and it was a pretty big one at that. Sun Devil Stadium was rocking Saturday for the Territorial Cup, and our Eliav Gabai was there and covered all angles of this rivalry matchup. From a team full of excitement and promise to one that had a nightmare of a season, that of course would be Arizona State volleyball. Interesting note about Sumlin, went 7-5 this year at Texas A&M, same record as ASU, so kind of a lateral movement as far as records go. It'll be interesting to see what he does. But if he is the leader, then we'll let it be. But we're going to play, you guys are the experts, so I want you to throw out some other names in case it isn't Kevin Sumlin. In the rumor mill here, who else do you think could possibly end up having a chance at this job? All right, Spencer, so we have a fun week coming up. We'll see if ASU can pull off another upset on the road at Stanford. But until then, Spencer Hardenberg, I'm Braiden Bell. We will see you next week on another edition of Cronkite Sports Live.